Hello everyone, today I want to show you one of the most important features of the Corbado Connect Management Console, and it's debugging. When you roll out passkeys to hundreds, thousands of users or even millions, there will be situations where things will break, where just due to the variety of platforms, operating systems, browsers, credential managers and versions, things will be odd and your users will start complain. Either they call you or they complain online on Reddit or other platforms, and you might need to fix those things. There are two ways to actually debug. There's the process search, which I would say helps you 90% of the cases, and there's the user search for the remaining 10%. Let's start with the process search. There are two ways how you can work with it, the pro mode and the simple mode. For the sake of this video, I will be in the pro mode, and usually customers complain they need to provide you with a user ID, in this case the email address. You can define what kind of process you want to look at, when it happened, if you can further boil it down by operating system, and so on and so forth. So let's say we know this user, it's one of our test users, so we include it, search for it, and on the bottom we would see all the processes where users basically were interacting with the system, and you get some high-level information, when it was, what the user was, some IDs, operating system, browser data. And now you can then look into this one process. Let's say it was today on the 31st of October where the issue occurred, and look into the details. Here you get a whole bunch of different information, which mainly consists of client-side information, which used to be quite a black box for many organizations because other authentication tools focus on the backend side. Whereas we with Corbado, we can provide you a lot of signaling and telemetry from the client side to understand what was going on with passkeys at your users' devices. On the top left, you see general user information like the ID, all the passkeys and credentials that were created. So there's a bunch of different ones which were deleted. One is active. You see different password managers that are in place or were in place. And then on top right side, you would see for this process different information like the platform, user agent information, and also capabilities like if Bluetooth was available or some other kind of web of N passkey related features like conditional create, hybrid, and so on. On the bottom, you have two lanes. One is for the sub-processes and one is for the events. Usually one sub-process contains 2 or 3 events, which contains some more data points that you can use. And then you can scroll from the left to the right and understand basically what one user has done in this process. The real work then is on the very bottom. If you go into that lane, you see a whole bunch of different technical information, either from passkey intelligence or some other things that our tracking actually takes with. And then you need to look into the process and basically look for errors. For instance, here we see an error with a timeout. So for instance, the user just forgot to scan something in the login process. Or if you go further, here's another error where the user tried to create a passkey on an authenticator that already holds a passkey. And as we employ exclude credentials, that was prevented by the operating system. So usually all that information is very, very detailed, and you can use that to really find the issues on a low technical level. It's more reactive, of course, because someone tells you, hey, look at it and fix it. But once you found an issue, it's usually always good to check other systems, to check other comparable users if they have the same issue, and then you can proactively also fix that. So let's say you have this user and you couldn't solve it, but you need some more information because this user might be on different devices or they might have used cross-device authentication. And usually these edge cases, they need to be solved with our user search. Therefore, we can copy the web of N IDs. Here's a button to copy those. And then we go into the user search. In here, quite simple. There's an input field where we just insert what we just copied. We search for it and we will find like one user in here. That's our test user. And if we open the details again, it looks similar but slightly different because now we take all processes that might have happened over a span of months or years into account, and they are concatenated. So are the corresponding events. And then on the top right, you would basically get the information about the devices that a user has been using over different weeks or months, and also see like the client environment. So we see here for my user, there's a Mac OS that I'm currently on. What do I get from it? So I have Safari where I didn't have a passkey interaction yet, so no logins and no creations, no logins in general, no passkey logins. Then there's the Chrome, my current browser, where I created and used a passkey quite a few times actually, and also my Android device where I'm on a web, so it's not a native app, And I also have accessed the service there, or the system at least knows about it, but there was no passkey interaction. And usually understanding these multi-device scenarios is then another good reason, together with cross-device authentication, how you can determine what went wrong and how you can proactively actually solve that. And it's quite interesting because you see on which devices users might have been using passkeys. Maybe they might only be using it on their mobiles, but not on their desktops. So that's usually enough to actually fix most of the issues. And together with the information you have on the bottom, it's a great tool to really debug issues at scale and prevent it for other users to happen in the first place.